Alright lads, so today over in Bleach Soul Resonance, let's talk once more about character stamps. This is something that we briefly touched upon at a basic level when the game first released, where the idea for that video was mostly just to promote how you should be powering up your character, in order to power up your character to the highest level they can potentially be. That way you can tackle the content that you were going through at a steady pace. But since the game has been out for almost 2 weeks now, most of us have now gotten to the point where you can start farming for 5-star stamp sets, and with that you might now be wondering, what exactly should you be looking out for? What stamps should you be upgrading? And with that in mind, what is there to look out for to indicate if a certain stamp is worth upgrading? Well, first up, let's talk about the stats that you can get. So this system is, I think, pretty decent. Could be better, could be worse. I played a lot of gacha games where the, accessory gear system can kind of ruin the game because you can get burnt out from grinding. This one doesn't seem too bad because the benefit we have here is that whenever you do get a piece, it's always going to come with 4 advanced stats and 2 basic stats. Now, the first basic stat for each stamp is always going to be the same. Using this one as an example, this is slot number 3. We're always going to have HP as the very first basic stat. Doesn't matter what set you're using, doesn't matter what star rarity it is. It's always going to offer HP in slot number 3. Of course, though, if it is a 5-star, it's going to offer more HP. When it comes to slot number 2, the middle slot, it's always going to be defense as the basic first stat. And then for slot number 1, you are going to get attack. That way, when you do level up your stamps, you're just guaranteed to get extra attack, defense, and also HP. Now, when it comes to the second basic stat, that is then what is going to be randomized. And again, it happens the second you get your particular stamp. And this second basic stat is important because that's the one that's going to get increased by quite a lot. So using this one as an example, the crit rate does go up to 30%. Whereas in the advanced stat, my crit rate is only 11%. And that is actually after getting 2 rolls into crit rate. So when it comes to selecting a particular stamp in terms of upgrading it, you do want to pay attention to the second basic stat and what it does offer. For the most part, there's quite a lot of actual good buffs that you can get. Crit rate, crit damage, attack, typing damage. So I think I have a few pieces, if I can find it, that offer bonus damage for a certain typing. In this case, frost type units can benefit from stamps like this if I was to level it up. And that, for the most part, is going to be one of your main stats once you do level it up. When it comes to the advanced stats, again, 4 random ones at each time. But fortunately for us, when it compared to games like Genshin and Wyvern Waves, games that I've played in the past, is that you already know from the get-go the 4 advanced stats you are going to get. Other games only give you like 2 at the start, and then as you level up the item, you then unlock the extra advanced stats, and that's where the RNG factor comes in, and that's where you're going to have to level up a bunch of, gear, and depending on the rolls that you do get, pretty much make or ruin that particular item. In this case, it's kind of the same, but again, because you see all 4 advanced stats straight from level 1, you can decide right away whether it is worth upgrading, and because there is only so many advanced stats that you can get, chances are after a certain amount of farming, you're going to get a pretty good piece. So using this one as an example, right? We're going to get the guaranteed extra attack, as that is the second basic stat. And then in this case, we have 2 good rolls for the advanced stats. We have ultimate charge rate and also crit rate. That isn't too bad. Unfortunately, though, we have base attack stat increase, and then also a defense percentage increase, which I'm not really too excited about. So using this piece as an example, right? A better piece in my opinion. Again, we started off with the basic attack. We started off with the second basic stat being attack percentage increase. And then we also then had crit damage, ultimate charge rate, and also crit rate in the advanced stats. So in that case, I did want to level it up. I want to increase my attack stat when I can. And there's a pretty good chance, pretty much 3 out of 4, that I'm going to upgrade, because once you do ascend these stamps, you do get a random increase in one of the advanced stats. Fortunately, the 3 upgrades that I did get, 1 went into ultimate charge rate, 1 went into crit rate, 1 went into HP, which isn't ideal, but maybe the HP isn't too bad. Would have preferred if it was crit damage, but when you are trying to min-max every single item, your damage output, for example, you want to make sure the basic stat is something good, like crit rate, crit damage, ultimate charge rate if that's what your character does need, maybe slash type damage if it is for a slash type character like Ichigo is, for example. And then with that, you also do want to have, again, 4 good advanced stats. So this is where the RNG factor is going to come in, because sometimes you are going to get a pretty good piece where you have really good advanced stats, and then the basic stat isn't that good. So we still have that RNG element to gear that other games do have. The benefit though is that we kind of see it right from the get-go. And once you do get that really good piece with a good basic stat and good 4 advanced stats, it won't feel bad leveling it up because you're guaranteed value for the most part. And I guess we can use this as an example, right? It's super sad that I did get a piece like this because this could have been a very powerful piece had the second basic stat rolled into something other than HP. If this was slash type damage bonus, if this was crit rate, crit damage, ultimate charge rate, maybe attack for example, this would have been a very good piece because the advanced stats, crit damage, percentage increase, attack percentage increase, crit rate, and ultimate charge rate is pretty much like the 4 best stats you want for a character like Ichigo. It sucked that the piece is basically useless because again the basic stat rolled HP, but at least I didn't invest anything into this particular piece. So that's what I mean why I do like the gear system in this game, because I know from the get-go whether I should upgrade the stamp or not, but there is still going to be that RNG element where you get really good rolls in the advanced stat, but then the basic stat does kind of ruin the piece. Now, when it comes to the character that you are using, what you are wandering and upgrading, again, once more, you can always come down to the strategy page, and it does recommend the stats. For Ichigo, it's crit rate, crit damage, and also attack. To be fair, for most characters, it is exactly that. For characters like Kisuke, a support unit, it recommends ultimate charge and also crit damage. Any damage increase is always going to be good. And then for a character like Byakuya, a sub DPS unit, he recommends to upgrade his ultimate charge rate, crit rate, and also crit damage. And Yoruichi, as another example, another full assault unit, it's also recommending crit rate, crit damage, and attack. So when it comes to what you're looking out for that second basic stat and also the 4 advanced stats to be something of value before you decide to level it up. Again, if you have a decent piece like this, right, or maybe use a better example, this piece, you know, didn't have like the best second stats, still good ones though. Third one maybe had HP, defense. I just wanted something on the character to make him a bit more powerful so I can tackle some of their ranking events and have a decent damage output. These pieces though definitely aren't going to be my mainstay on a character like Ichigo. I'm eventually going to replace them with better pieces when I eventually get those better pieces. But like we already touched upon, when you do level pieces, as you ascend the item itself, you are going to get a random increase in a advanced stat, and it does indicate how many times that particular stat got increased. This is where it is random, but when you do have a good piece that offers 4 good stats, really doesn't matter which one gets increased. But ideally, you do want the, you know, the bigger ones like crit rate, crit damage. Now, one thing that's also super important when it comes to the item itself is that once you do get it to level 25, to get it to level 30, you are going to need stamp nexus items. Now, these are super rare items for the time being. It takes 10 to evolve 1 to 6 star, and it does let you then get access to level 30. The difference between a level 25 and 30, of course, is more stats, but you do get more rolls. So level 20, as you can see here, only has 3 stat increases, crit rate once, ultimate charge rate once, and defense once. So overall 3 upgrades. But when you 6-star it and get it to level 30, you'll see that there's 2 upgrades to attack, 2 upgrades to crit rate, 2 up to crit damage, and 1 to attack. So 7 stat upgrades overall from just 5 extra levels versus 3. You're getting basically 4 more. So level 30 pieces are definitely important. You're overall just getting more stats, but the hardest part again is going to be getting those stamp nexus items. So where exactly are you going to get those? Well, if you click on the item itself, it does tell you exactly where. Of course, first up, you can get it from the exchange zone where you can get 30 a month. If you did rush through the game, you were at least able to buy, I personally bought 20 something, so I was able to evolve at least one of them, but for the time being, as me recording this video, this is the only place you can get them. So on a month-to-month basis, you definitely do want to at least buy the 30 here. After a while, you won't really need any of the extra items. I don't need them even now. Definitely buy the 30 when you can. And you really only want to use these items on a piece that is very good, because again, they are rare items. In my case, I'm kind of rushing. I just want to have something on my character. You don't have to do this. Was this piece worth upgrading? Maybe. I don't know. It's not a bad piece. I liked the advanced stats and the basic stats, so I didn't mind doing it just to have some type of 6-star piece on my character. But it's also, of course, worth mentioning the Stamp Nexus items. You can get them, and the main way you are going to get them is through limited time events, which currently none are available. We did get the patch notes yesterday regarding the upcoming Tosho release, and we do know that you can get this in the limited time Gin boss fight event. So whenever events like that do roll around, you're going to definitely make sure you want to do it, because that's where you're going to get this rare item, where you need 10 of them, so 30 overall for one character just to upgrade all the stamps to level 30 6-star rarity. But when you do upgrade it, what you're also going to get, as you can see here, is a new passive effect. And this is where, again, some extra RNG can be at play here, and this can maybe make or break a particular stamp, especially when you've invested already so much into it. But the passive can be completely random. It can be something really good, like all damage increase. Like increase battlefield skill damage by 22%. Imagine you roll that 3 times on a battlefield character, 60% more damage is going to be really good. You could get technique damage increase. There's quite a lot of different effects here, and you're going to want to make sure, hopefully, you get lucky and you roll something that is useful for your character. So using my piece as an example, what I did get was releasing a technique or ultimate increases all type damage dealt by the entire team by 3% for 25 seconds. Not that good, let's be honest. It's not really a good passive effect. Definitely could have been better. Would have liked maybe more technique damage, more full assault damage. And what you then want to do, if you want to re-roll it, so it's not over, right? Once you 6-star it, if you really like the piece, you really like the stats, but you got a terrible passive effect, what you're then going to have to do is get another piece. I assume it's random. It doesn't need to be the exact same one, but it needs to be another 6-star piece. So that means you do need to spend 10 more stab nexus items to evolve it, and then you're going to use that as fodder material, recycling material, to re-roll that passive effect once more. That's a lot of investment. Fortunately though, what we do see here is developed stamps will refund the development material. So I feel like at this point there might as well just be an extra button, just the re-roll with 10 stamp nexus items, because you get all the items back. So if I was to, you know, take this item to level 30, no, you're level 30. Take it to 6-star. You don't need to get it to level 30, which is good. If I was to 6-star this and then put it into this piece as recycling, all the items I spent on this stamp is going to be refunded. So it's not too bad. Again, you still have to take an item up all the way to 5-star level 25 and then use 10 stamp nexuses to evolve it. But once you re-roll it, you should get all those development items back. And I would assume, I haven't done it myself, that would include everything but the stamp nexus items, the 10 that you had to use to evolve it. So again, right now, personally, I would really love to see just an option to not use a random 6-star. Since you're refunding us, it might as well just be a button where you use 10 more stamp nexus items to just re-roll it. But that's how you are going to re-roll that passive effect. And again, this can make or break a character or an item because it does provide really good effects. Like again, once more, imagine all 3 pieces rolled increased technique damage. 90% more technique damage is absolutely insane for just one character. And in regards to what's the best, you know, passive for Ichigo, you're definitely going to want to get the enhanced special attack, where you get 22% more special attack damage, and then as a full assault unit, you get an extra 7.5, so 30%. Again, once more, imagine that 2 more times on the 2 other pieces. This is where the items get super crazy. This is where the damage gets super crazy, where the power level gets super crazy, and it strictly comes from 6-star stamps. And this is probably what you are going to spend pretty much long-term building your characters. Then again, at least as of right now, it doesn't seem like you have to maximize everything. But over time, where people are just playing the game naturally, long-term, eventually you're going to get some good pieces, and you're probably going to need them for the ranking events. But once more, the ranking events that we have gotten thus far, you know, doesn't really punish you for not being the top 10%, top 1%. It's been relatively fair. So, you know, if you don't like the idea of this gear grind system, or if you feel like people are going to get super far ahead with the amount of RNG that is involved in these items, in the long term, at least as of right now, I just don't think it matters that much. But this is going to be, for the most part, to make a way to get your characters better and make them more fun. Because who doesn't like clearing content fast and dealing insane levels of damage? And I probably should have mentioned this near the start of the video when we were talking about the basic stats and the advanced stats, for example. But remember how I said the second basic stat on any piece is randomized? Well, each individual slot 1, 2, and 3, can actually pick up different effects. So your second basic stat on slot number 1 can, like already mentioned, pick up slash, strike, thrust, and spirit damage, but you can only get that on slot 1 stamps. Slot 2 and 3, for example, can't get slash damage. But vice versa, slot 2 can pick up crit rate and crit damage, slot 1 can't do that, and the slot 3 can get ultimate charge rate and element damage, and slot 2 and 1 can't do that. Which I think is a good thing. It means for those particular slots, there's less stats to get and more likely to get the one you want. So that's pretty much how this system does work, and I guess we can use some of the higher ranking players right now as examples. So at least in my server, I'm not sure if this is different for everyone else. You can actually view what they are working with. So shout out to these people. They are going absolutely crazy. Daz with 60,000 power already. Obviously, a lot of that is coming from the 6/6 boundary, but if you look at his 6-star pieces, he has slash damage bonus, which is definitely someone you want to look towards getting. Personally, I've had no luck, but I can see why he decided to upgrade this, because 3 out of the 4 stats are actually pretty good. Ultimate charge rate, crit damage, and crit rate. Unfortunately, it's not the most perfect piece possible because he did roll a defense stat. But still, 3 out of 4 and a good basic stat. I would have also definitely upgraded that and also got it to level 6-star. His second piece is pretty similar. Crit rate increase, also crit damage and attack. From the looks of it, the crit damage got a pretty big buff when he upgraded it. Not the best passive effects, to be fair. And then this one, to be fair, didn't get the best second stat, but still maybe worth upgrading for the passive effect, where he got ultimate damage increased by pretty much 30%. While the first basic stat wasn't the greatest, the second advanced stats were also pretty good. Crit rate, crit damage, ultimate charge rate, and it seems like when upgrading, most of those got the upgrades. Again, right now, since we are at the start of the game, for the most part, you can only get 3 pieces to max level, so we can't be too picky. We only have so much stamina. The game's only been out for so much time. Not many people are going to have, like, the best possible items with the best basic stats and advanced stats, but, you know, you can work with what you got. In this case, another slash damage bonus at 20%. Also got crit rate and ultimate charge rate, so not too bad. This one, crit damage, while also picking up more crit damage and also crit rate. In this piece, ultimate charge rate of 40%. And I think that's definitely someone you want to look towards when it comes to Ichigo as a character, since you do want to get that ultimate as fast as possible. Very likely, this might be, especially for a duped out Ichigo, where he gets naturally more crit rate through the boundary system, might be the best build for Ichigo, because you get the slash damage bonus, you get the high crit damage, and then you're building your ultimate much faster. But in this, actually a really good piece too, because again, you're getting the ultimate charge rate extra increase, you're getting the attack percentage increase, crit rate and crit damage. This person here, Zero, who's currently ranked 3rd, has a very powerful Ichigo, at least when it comes to that 3rd stamp. Again, when it comes to the passive effects, nothing super crazy as far as the level 30s are concerned. This one's not too bad, but again, right now, most of us can't reroll it. If you bought all 30 from the shop, you can only pretty much get 3 pieces to 6-star. For the time being, until we can reliably get those through events. But either way, lads, that's the video for today, going over the gear system in Bleach Soul Residence, the stamp system, as we call it in this game. I think it's a pretty decent system with a lot of potential. Like with most gacha games, this is something that you are going to spend a long time on. And with that, it can be quite tedious in terms of, you know, getting the perfect stats if you are trying to maximize your character's damage output. But I think we have it quite lucky in a certain way that you do know exactly what that gear piece or stamp is going to offer once you get it for the very first time. We don't need to level up stamps to level 15, and then if it doesn't get good rolls, we have to throw it away. Instead, once you get your piece for the first time, which is going to be the most, you know, RNG part, if it has good stats, then it's worth upgrading. And in terms of the best stats to go for, again, if you go to the character guide, it does recommend most of the time crit damage, crit rate, and also attack. But it's still an ever-evolving game. The game's only been out for less than 2 weeks' time. I think as time goes by, we'll start to figure out the exact stuff you want to go for. But right now, using the strategy guide as an example is a pretty decent way to go about it. As long as you're increasing your character's damage output, whether that's attack, crit rate, crit damage, ultimate charge rate, slash damage, for example, if you're using a slash type character, honestly, you can't do too bad in this game. Either way, hope you guys enjoyed the video. See you guys next time. Take care and peace.